Hi, guys. Today's topic is: did you make a vow or have a goal that opposes God's will or your higher power's will for you, ultimately? Hi, my name is Lakshmi Anand. Actually, Ma Lakshmi Anand. You can call me Lox for short. Okay, so let's get into it. So, there are oftentimes many vows that we make that may oppose your higher power's will or God's will for you. And you may think that goals are good, right? Who doesn't think that? It's like, I have goals, I have objectives, I have places I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, hell or high water, right? And you'll find that you have lots of support for having goals and vows, the most notably marriage vows, etc. I know, please hold on. So, following your higher power's will is really in the moment, generally speaking. Your higher power or God's will for you is something that guides you day by day and even minute by minute. Like Bashar talks about, it'll be the thing that is the has the holds the highest amount of frequency or joy in for you if you have two competing kind of task goals, etc., or things you want to do. Now, oftentimes there's a difference between lust, greed, cravings that can be addictive and short term for short term relief. And we're not really talking about that. So there needs to be discernment. Oftentimes, God's will for you will keep returning and returning to you as a core longing, a core drive, a core desire that keeps returning even year after year if it's not accomplished. It is something that you desire, it's something you love. It's something that you love to do, that you want to do. Um, but what happens many times is that we will create vows, and oftentimes this is a vow before God. This is going to be trigger warning, okay? Um, we know those vows that we take before God. Until death do us part is one of them. And really, it is a trigger warning, but it is something to think about, and that many people these days do think about, and that they reconsider what the 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 direction of their life. I had to do that. I wanted a doctoral degree. I desired to do that, and I was heading towards that. I really didn't even know what I wanted to get a degree in, and it unfolded for me. I have a master's in social work and clinical social work, and I'm an addiction professional in Florida and was in North Carolina, and that was really great. I felt really empowered to go through that. I loved the process. However, when I got to the level of doctoral program, and I got in the program and I did the first quarter research, quantitative and qualitative research, which I did very well in. But I saw the professors, and everybody looked kind of miserable, white and pasty, and just tied to their desk, and just like they had neglected their bodies, they were in their minds, and I'm sure they were happy with their fields or their choices, maybe not, but they didn't seem, it didn't align with how I envisioned myself moving forward. After prayerful thought, and it just wasn't fun anymore. And I realized that. Well, I didn't take the second quarter. I decided realized I didn't want it anymore and I wasn't having fun anymore. And I went off to India. So I had a goal and a vow, and I reconsidered it by tapping into myself, into my core with lots of meditation and prayer. And I realized that I had set an agenda, but my higher power had another idea. And I am so grateful that I followed with that. That's just one case in point, and there's others. Many people will set goals and vows related to family and relationships, friends. They have ideas that were set inside of us, and many of our cultures are like blood is thicker than water, and there's vows to family and friends and situations that we took at one point, really meaning it, that later change. And I'm not saying, one day you get mad and you hop out of a marriage. I am not saying anything like that. Or you neglect your children. But there are things that people make vows for themselves, maybe to, no case in point, many people will have vows like, I wasn't treated the way I wanted to be treated as a child, so I'm going to be the opposite of that with my children. I did that too. However, my higher power had a different plan. And I held on with everything I had. But resisting my higher power and the direction of what was coming up, what was being born in me, I broke. I felt like I broke, but it was really now what I realize as a soul contract, and my children actually recognize it too, that they needed to go through certain things. And the harder I tried to complete that vow, the more it became worse, the farther I got from that goal and what I wanted that to look like for my children. I had all good intentions. We can go into depth about that story, and it's partly in my book, and hopefully I'll talk about it more in depth later. People will have goals, oftentimes related to marriage. We're seeing a lot of that change now, and letting relationships be what they are, instead of trying to create them into what we think they should be, and trying to hold other people to our vows, our ideas, when they clearly seem to want something else. Now, we can make trauma worse and our heartbreak worse when things are not lining up to what we think that they should look like. And it can make it harder for other people. Have you ever pressed somebody to continue a relationship with you, or to try to continue a relationship in a certain way and what you think it should look like, when when the other person didn't seem to want that, or you've continued in an abusive or unfulfilling situation or relationship in the manner that you thought it should be or how you should be in it, and neglected yourself because you had an idea of what that should look like. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use the laws of the universe and manifest, or not even manifest, but again, let's go back to other topics, or we've covered this, and realize the relationship to be in a certain way. However, if you're trying to force it in the 3D and control it, that's not going to work. Generally speaking, you can put in tons of effort. However, if your internal state is opposing that, and you think somebody should be giving you something that maybe you should be fulfilling in yourself, within yourself, and giving to yourself, there's another lesson there. What is it? Maybe you're being pushed in another direction. And certainly if somebody is abusive in a certain way, verbally, financially, sexually, physically, etc., gaslighting, manipulative, if that is troubling your world and you're working against, you're trying to control, figure out a way to persuade that person, etc., because you see a place that you think it should go, you have a goal, you've made a vow, so that person should also fulfill that vow. That's controlling the situation. If you have a vow about how your children's lives should look, and you're going to make sure that you're there to make it go a certain way, that is, I'm sorry, trigger. Maybe, could it be that you're controlling where you think their life should go instead of where their divine will, their sovereignty is taking them? These are really important questions to ask yourself. Once something is in the 3D and it's manifested, it's out here, we have no choice but to accept that it is as it should be. Doesn't mean it's the end goal, but if I am fighting it, it's a losing battle. The best thing I can do is accept where it is, and even accept that my desires and my desire to let go is probably healthy. I'm sorry, I see some squirrels play outside. So the desire to let go and then to focus back on myself and say, why is this so triggering to me? Why am I trying to control this? Why am I fighting this? Do I really want this the way it appears now? Maybe I will have satisfaction in internally visualizing it and feeling it in another way, where the real power is inside me, and giving myself love and giving myself acceptance. Like, this may be the way it is now. I accept it. That doesn't mean you like it, but you accept it and surrender control. I surrendered control. And go back inside and feel the feelings about the sadness about it, about the whatever it's bringing up for you. Honor your feelings, honor them, feel them, love them, talk to them as little energy spirits, if you will, because they are energy. They're ideas. We can debate if they're energy. But you can say, thank you, I'm aware of you, because that's what you are. You are awareness, you are a consciousness. And you can give the currency of paying attention to it. You can focus your awareness on that idea and love it, essentially, because it's, if I'm controlling something, it is a form of fear. It's a form of fear, and it will come in different forms, so that it appears as something different, something good. Oh, it's good for me to have this vow. I'm disciplined. I have goals. People can't say that I'm a deadbeat dad. People can't say I'm lame. I'll prove myself to them. I'll show them I'm somebody. Who are you doing that for? Somebody outside you? Because you need external validation, maybe. I get it. I'm not judging. I can't judge. I've been there. I've done that. And it's really important to see it. Am I doing that? Am I not following my higher power's will, so that I can have validation from these people or this situation, or get that promotion, or not be fired, or get that grade, get that pay raise? Am I denying who I am and what I want? This is to be a regular practice. I myself have to question myself. It's a process of self-inquiry to constantly be aware, which you are awareness of thoughts and feelings, which you are not. You're not a body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings. You are awareness of those things. You are awareness. Somebody said, I think, therefore I am. I'm aware, therefore I am. I'm aware. I'm aware of my thoughts, and this is a practice of meditation. When you said meditation, I'm aware of these thoughts. I am looking at them, but I am not them. However, they pop up and they say what they have to say. But where did it come from? Kind of irrelevant, but we could go down into that rabbit hole if you want to. If you do, make a comment in the comment section. We can cover those things and anything else that you're interested in that I may have skipped over or glossed over. Food for thought today. I'm sorry if it's triggering. I'm sorry if it offends you. But as you know, the truth will set you free. However, first, it'll blow your mind, make your head spin, and maybe piss you off. However, do you want to be free? That's the question. To have a great day, have a great life, start by having a great day. It doesn't mean you can't cry, because that's sometimes part of it. Okay, bye for now. See you soon in the next video.